back again.
Here. Also, I'm here. Hi.
Yeah. And, Jacob's also here, but we don't know if he's gonna talk. So, yeah, that's fun and good. Hi, people. My name is definitely Alex and not something different.
Wait. Alex, that's your name.
No, it's not. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I lied.
Wait, yeah. It's definitely Alex's name.
Yep. And this is definitely Lucy.
And there's no sarcasm in our voices.
There is no one else here that is definitely not named Lucy.
I mean, wait, yeah, no.
Besides me, I'm not named Lucy, but you are named Lucy.
Has anybody here read a lovely... Hello? Has anybody here read a lovely book called...
That's such a good book. Anyways, so did you guys ever hear of this little story called Percy Jackson?
Because I'd say it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of small. It's like, I heard that the author decided, you know what, I'm gonna team with this small company called Disney and make a TV show out of it.
And it's like 10 days?
Yeah, it's like, but I mean, like, I'm sure it's not gonna be that big. It's only going on, like, it's only sort of big.
It's only making about millions of people so excited.
Yeah. It's not like it's one of the most popular videos on the internet just from the first trailer.
Oh, no. It would
No. Well, we're not here to talk about the TV show that doesn't quite exist yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. We're here.
Lovely paper. I love books.
Yeah. Or if you guys are not boring, just slightly less exciting and use Kindles or something.
Ew.
Because you don't spend money on books. Spend money on books.
I want to be able to hold them and, like...
Smell them.
Exactly.
The pages. Those.
Yep. Wait, hold on. I have the lightning thief right here. Wait.
Did you smell it?
It's not the terrible chemically taste that a lot of books have, but it's also not like stinky cheese taste. Smell.
Yeah, but Lucy, did you absorb the knowledge of Percy Jackson through that sniff right there?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
the point of books.
Don't know if this is just my brain playing tricks on me, but like, it smells like sand. Like, the smell of warm sand.
Yeah. Yeah, that. Percy Jackson. Let's kick this off. For all of you youngins or oldins or people on the internet.
There's spoilers in this.
Yeah, there's going to be quite a few spoilers. For those of you who don't know, Percy Jackson is 12 years old at the beginning of Percy Jackson. Now, some of you youngins on the internet might be thinking, isn't that just the poor man's Harry Potter? And I'm telling you to be quiet.
Stop it. Because also Harry Potter was he was like 11.
Yeah.
That was the same plot as Star Wars. Look it up. We have for real. Because you have like the whole about like the uncle who like doesn't support whatever it's doing, and then the weird guy with the beard comes and is like, you're a wizard, or like you're a Jedi.
And then he gets brought to magic place and learns about magic, where he gets mentored by a more powerful magic man.
But then there's like this weird dude who's like, oh my goodness, you're like the main character, and I'm gonna kill you.
And also, I'm shoving my soul in stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but we're not talking about Harry Potter. We're talking about Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson's 12 years old. He goes to boarding school. How boring.
Yeah.
Wait, Harry Potter goes to boarding school.
Hold on, we did. Well,
the difference is Harry...
A boarding school, so like...
Hogwarts is a boarding school.
I can't have that, however.
We're not there yet, Lucy. We're not there yet. You see, Percy Jackson, he's a troubled kid. And you want to know why? Well, he wants to know, too.
And he doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't for a long time.
He has this cool mom named Sally.
Yeah, but she's married to this guy named Smelly Gabe Ugliano. Ugliano?
I think it's Ugliano because that's
yeah.
quite hilarious.
It sounds funnier. Let's call him Ugliano.
Yep, Gabe Ugliano.
I just call him Smelly Gabe.
Yeah.
Or Smelly Gabe Ugliano, but...
Yeah, and he, smells really bad. Oh, wait, where's the description of how he smells? Hold on.
Is there I think it's he smells like alcohol and cigarettes.
No, it's, moldy garlic pizza wrapped in ginger.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyways, Percy... So, besides the fact that Percy has a horrible stepdad and a really cool mom, Percy goes to boarding school for 6th grade, right? And he's on this field trip to the museum. Wow.
To the museum of
the Metropolitan Museum of Arts.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, they're at the Metropolitan Museum of Arts, and they're stopped by all the statues. If I already said this, someone stop me. Anyways, they stop by all the statues and learn about the gods with Mr. Brunner and his substitute, Mrs. Dodds. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then they go on this little lunch break outside.
Yeah. And then
Nancy, and she's like, "You guys suck," and then she bullies them.
And throws peanut butter and ketchup sandwiches. Which, who actually eats peanut butter and ketchup?
And then Percy's like, "I'm so blinded by rage." And then Nancy's in the fountain for some reason. He's like, "What? No way!"
And then everyone else is like, "But the water grabbed her." And Mrs. Dodds, the really mean teacher, is like, "Percy Jackson, you little turd, why'd you push her?"
And then he goes to talk to her in the museum.
And then Percy's like, "Dang it, Mrs. Dodds. Well, I just have to buy her a t-shirt." And Mrs. Dodds is basically teleporting on top of stuff. And Percy's like, "Hey, how are you doing that? Also, you have this funny-looking thing on your back. What is that?"
Oh, they're wings.
Oh, man. Turns out Mrs. Dodds was a demon.
A fury.
Yep, those minions of Hades who eat people.
A fury.
Yeah, that. Anyways, so Percy's all freaking out and stuff and trying not to die while she's screaming about him taking stuff. And he's like, "I didn't take anything. I'm a wee little boy. I just want to eat."
Die. And then Mr. Brunner comes in with this pen, and he's like, "Here, you might need this." And throws it to Percy, and Percy somehow catches it in all of this panic, which personally, I would not be able to do that. The pen's kind of little and snatching it. Anyway, and then he uncaps it, and it's a sword.
What? A sword? Definitely not talked about earlier in the chapter that we just forgot to mention. No. Then Percy stabs his pre-algebra teacher. And that's the end of the story. Goodbye, folks. That's the whole Percy Jackson series. Definitely not 20 more books.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely only fights one monster.
Anyways.
Oh, we wish it was that simple.
Anyways, to sum it up, goes to this camp, finds out he's the son of Poseidon. Woo! But oh no! They're not supposed to have kids.
Horrors of horrors.
Oh, wait, hold on. Poseidon, Zeus, and Hades, they're not supposed to have kids.
Because their kids caused World War II.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember stuff like that.
What? I wasn't supposed to be born. And then...
Oh, also his mom died.
Oh, yeah. Also his mom dies.
That's really sad.
And then he meets this really cool girl named Annabeth, who's the daughter of Athena. And she's like, "You were lame." And then Percy's like, "No, you're pretty." And
then everyone's like, "What?" And Annabeth's like, "What?" And Percy's like, "I hate you," at the same time as saying she's pretty. It's very confusing.
And everybody's like, "No, a romance isn't blossoming here at all."
Nope. Never. Never in a million years.
And they go on this quest to find Zeus's lightning bolt.
Oh, and before that, their buddy Luke, good old Luke, he's like, "Percy, I'm going to give you something to help you on your way, traveler." And Percy's like, "Okay, Luke, I trust you so much because you helped me out at camp."
Oh, yeah.
And then they get magic shoes.
Yeah. And so they go on this quest. And there's the whole Medusa thing.
Oh, and they run into his math teacher again.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, also, before all of this happened, before Percy knew he was, like, the demigod, they run into the Fates, and he's like, what? That's kind of weird. And Gryffindor's like, you're gonna die.
Yeah, because they had socks. Big socks.
They were knitting socks, and they had scissors. Old whipping with scissors is not a fun time.
Yeah. Anyways, so, also Percy almost got a swirly until he accidentally destroyed plumbing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. Anyways, so they're going through to get food, and they're like, hey, we should stop at this place called Auntie M's Garden Emporium. That's definitely not suspicious. No. Definitely not the horrified stone statues. That's not suspicious either.
Oh, not at all.
Nope. So then they keep going through this definitely not suspicious place.
No.
And then they stump Grover, who is a satyr, by the way, who is a half goat, half boy, is like, hey, that looks like my Uncle Ferdinand. And the owner of the place, Auntie M, she's like, children, come inside and definitely don't turn into stone.
About satyrs. When I was first reading the Percy Jackson books, because I knew next to nothing about Greek mythology, and I didn't really know what a satyr was, I read it as satire. And I was like, this is how it's pronounced, because I know what a satire is.
Good job. Someone get her a cookie. Sit young Lucy down with a cookie and explain to her Greek mythology really quick.
No. I dug myself.
That actually could probably scar a child.
No. I dug myself into a very deep hole of Greek mythology after reading this.
Good job. Anyways, so Auntie M, she's like, I'm gonna definitely not turn you into stone. And everyone's like, okay, burgers are good.
And then she's like, here, let me take your picture, daughter of Athena.
And everyone, who I definitely don't hate. And then Percy's like, wait, how do you know my name again?
And then she's like,
Definitely non-suspicious reason inserted here.
Oh, yeah. And then she is Medusa, and...
What?
Yeah!
I didn't see that coming.
And then Percy's like, here, sword.
And then cuts her head off. If you don't notice, there's a lot of Percy accidentally cutting people's heads off in this.
Oh, yeah. And then Percy proceeds to send the head to Mount Olympus, because...
Why not?
President.
Yeah. They need to show those gods that Percy is on top now.
Yeah. Also, throughout all of this talking we've been doing, I've been having the Percy Jackson, musical soundtrack going through my head.
Oh, yeah, guys. The movies, we pretend don't exist. Yeah. But the musical, people should go watch it. Mm-hmm. Please. My personal best friend was Percy Jackson in it.
Personal best friend, Alex. Wait. I probably should.
Mr. McDuffelbag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anyways, so Percy Jackson, he's going on his merry questing way with his buddies.
Medusa. And then they go onto, this train. And they go to the one arch thing.
The Gateway Arch.
Yeah, the Gateway Arch.
No. And then they're like, oh, hey, we're at the top of the arch now. Only two.
Wow, I love architecture. And Percy's like, wow.
A lady with a puppy. Aw, is that a chihuahua?
No, it's not.
It's a chimera. And then a chimera. Chimera? How do we pronounce? Chimera. Let's just say chimera. Chimera.
It's CHIM.
Chimera? It's a chimera. Let's just... I don't know. Anyways, so,
Percy. And Percy's like, no! No!
And for those of you who don't know... the Gateway Arch is very tall.
Yeah. And so falls off of it into a river. And, since he's like, this went up Poseidon, and he survives.
And then the sea lady's like, Percy, go to Santa Monica Pier. Got it? And then Percy's like, why?
Oh.
And that happens. So.
Yeah. And then they go to, Vegas. And then in Vegas, they go to this place.
Well, but before Vegas, Ares is like, hey, kids, go get my shield. And they're like, why? And Ares is like, because I'll bring you to Vegas. And they're like, okay. And then they get the shield after Percy and Annabeth have to go through the tunnel of love.
Which is like, wow, this isn't giving the biggest hint about...
No,
I know.
Yeah, no.
They're pranked, and then Annabeth is afraid of spiders.
Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah.
And also, Ares is so nice and gives Percy a backpack.
And Ares is like, get pranked.
Nerds.
Yeah, and then they go to Vegas, and then they go to this place called the Lotus Hotel, and
definitely not suspicious.
And then they're like kind of hypnotized by like the amount of video games, which like, okay.
It's like, have you guys ever been to like Family Fun Center or what's another place with video? Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know. I've been there like once.
Instead of it being like kind of friendly and definitely not germ filled. Ooh, I cannot stand those places. No, it's you're trapped there for like a long time, and time is going by very fast, but it is, and so they are stuck there for 5 days. And by the way,
to them, they're there for like 7 hours.
Yeah, that they feel like they're only there for a couple hours, but they're there for 5 days.
Also, the Lotus Hotel comes back big later, so, like not in this book, but like later books.
Yeah. What was it? Yeah. And by the way, they like have a deadline to do this thing they have to do.
Yeah. Right? Summer solstice.
So they have like literally a day to do it now, and they're like, oh. So then they're like, we need to get out of Vegas, and so they go to LA.
And then they
underworlded.
But I have to do this part slowly and in detail because everyone glosses over Krusty.
Oh my gosh, Krusty!
Everyone just goes over Krusty, so I'm gonna take my time explaining him real quick.
Because he's okay. It's like kind of gruesome and terrifying.
It is.
Also, it's hilarious.
He deserves a section real quick. So Krusty, I forgot his real name because it's long and complicated. Basically, he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
C.
Which then again, most are.
Most Greek people are bad guys.
Yeah. Okay.
So Krusty, he is like, hey children who just tried to escape some gangsters, come inside, I'll help you out. Most people come in here to help escape gangsters. He runs a waterbed store.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's like, why don't you try out my beds? Non-suspiciously, and all the children are like, okay, how big is this bed? And then Krusty's like, oh, let's see. And then he shoves Annabeth and Grover on the beds, and then he presses a button because, oh no, they weren't big enough for it.
Oh, poor Crestus.
Oh, that's it, yeah. He's like a water god or something.
I don't even know, man. Oh, he's like
Isn't he like the stretcher or something?
Yeah.
Anyways, so some chains or ropes bind Annabeth and Grover to the beds and stretch them out so that they'll be perfectly sized to the beds. But
would kill them. So.
Yeah, it would kill them. And then Percy, who is conveniently not chained to a bed, is like, what do you do if they're too big for a bed? And Krusty, he's a pretty tall guy.
He's like, you chop the lids off. That's normal to do.
And Percy's like, oh, could you give me a demonstration of that? And Krusty's like, oh, of course. As you can tell, he doesn't get very many customers.
Yeah, and then Percy's like, yeah, okay, get on that bed. And then he gets on the bed, and then Percy says the magic word, which I can't really remember what it is. And then he gets, and then the one guy, Krusty, gets trapped onto the bed. And then Percy's like, oh, you're too big for the bed. And then he beheads him.
Yeah. That's Krusty. Yeah. Krusty deserves a bit more appreciation.
Yeah, anyways, and then they go to the underworld. And fun.
And they drown. So, in the underworld, you kind of have to be dead to get in.
Yeah, and so they basically...
They're just like, hey, we got stuck in a bathtub.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
How did you forget about the bathtub?
The excuse for how they died was they drowned in the bathtub, all of them same bathtub.
And then Charon, the ferryman to the underworld, was like, huh, really? And then Percy says, yes, it was a very big bathtub. It was a really big bathtub.
Yeah, so they managed to get into the underworld, and then they're like, they're in the underworld. And then Annabeth is like, we're not going to get past the Cerberus. Yeah.
And Percy's like, who's Cerberus? And then he looks up, and there's this giant guard dog.
And he's a Rottweiler, and honestly, I think of Cerberus as, like, really cute. like maybe massive and like maybe eats people, but also I am a dog person and nothing can change that.
I think Cerberus is the type of dog who looks absolutely horrifying when you don't see him there, and then after he's like, "Oh, you're a nice person," then that's when he becomes adorable.
Mm-hmm. So Annabeth becomes besties with Cerberus,
and then they ditch him.
That's
not very nice.
No, Annabeth literally cries for Cerberus, and that like warms my heart.
And then let's spin the wheel to see what torture Percy is subjected to next. They almost fall into a giant pit known as Tartarus. Good thing that didn't happen.
Sorry.
Good thing that didn't happen.
Every time somebody talks about Tartarus, I think of the one line from the musical, like the fish sauce.
The fish sauce? I love that in the musical, Percy sounds absolutely horrified when he says, like the fish sauce.
Like, this kid cannot stand fish.
I mean, he pretty much could have been a fish.
Like, but he could have, but he wasn't. And
he wasn't. Good for him.
Grover almost gets pulled into Tartarus, and then they get his...
By the magic shoes.
By the magic shoes that Luke gave them.
What?
That's weird. And so...
Good thing our good buddy Luke would never betray them.
Oh, no. And then the pit seems to, like, try to be, like, sucking them in, right? And then they are like, no! And then they don't. And then they go to Hades. And I honestly think it's really weird that Percy insists on calling Hades uncle.
I know. It's like... have you ever seen that meme where it's like, I'm going to be so reverent to Hades, says Percy, calls him, like, Your Highness one time, Uncle 15 times? Oh, also, we forgot to mention earlier when they were on the train, Percy had this dream about someone talking to a mysterious voice
in
Tartarus about like someone named Talia, who's the daughter of Zeus, who died and turned into a tree.
Which I look at like a massive pine tree. I'm like,
yeah, Talia.
Like what? Hello, but then I remember
you're supposed to be in New York.
Yeah. And then they're like, Hades used to all the Zeus's lightning bolt, and Hades like, what? No, and they're like, no, because he's like, want more dead people, right? And he's like, I hate dead people.
And who took my hat, guys? It's not funny anymore. Where is my hat?
He's like, where's my hat? I want to be invisible again, so I don't have to deal with all of this. And then Percy, at the perfect wrong time, is like, Karen should get a raise.
Oh yeah, because
Cerberus should get played with more.
And then Hades is just like dying over here. He wants his hat back. He just wants some alone time. His wife is in the upper world. He's sad.
Yeah, and then he's like, you know what? No, you just totally. Oh, and then he's like, what? Who's this? You don't have the lightning bolt. This is Hades, by the way. And Percy's like, no, I don't, because I'm trying to get it. And then he's like, look in your backpack. And Percy opens the backpack.
From Ares.
And he's like, so. Funny story.
This isn't my lightning bolt. This is a different lightning bolt of cosmic power that suddenly is in my backpack.
And he's like, and Annabeth and Grover are like, so Percy, how? And he's like, I didn't do anything. And then Hades is like, seize him, murder them. Ah! And then,
also, we forgot to mention this earlier. Remember how Percy's mom is sort of dead? She got squeezed by a minotaur and turned into dust.
Gold.
Anyways.
And he's just like kind of holding her captive.
Yeah.
So she's not like actually dead, but
she's a ghost basically right now.
So Percy's like, we need to get out of here. And then you know how he like fell in the river after the arch, right?
Yeah.
The lady who he went with was like, here, take these little presents here. And he's like, okay, chill. And so he gets these 3 little pearls and he hands them to his friends. And, well, yeah. And then when they're in the underworld and they're, like, trying to escape from Hades, they smash them on the ground. And then they get put in these bubbles. They float up to the surface. And then
because what belongs to the sea can always return.
What belongs to
the sea can always return.
Oh, yeah.
What belongs to the sea can always return. It's a seashell.
It's a seashell.
No, it's a gift from a god.
And then they're like up in the water, and they're like,
Santa Monica Pier.
The beach, and then Aries is there, and he's like,
kids, you guys are turds.
And Percy's like, I'm gonna fight you. So he fights a god, and then because like he is the main character, he beats Aries, and Aries is like, you made an enemy. Ah, ah, ah. And then Percy's like, I'm tired.
Also, Aries had the hat, like the Helm of Darkness, which was Hades' special hat, and he took the lightning bolt, and he cursed Percy so that when he needed his sword most, it would fail him.
Yeah.
Also, Percy has a magic sword.
Dude, I keep forgetting about that. Okay, hold on. I have a new way of reading books now, and it's definitely helpful. Whenever I read a series, I go back and read the first book because there's so many metaphors. And it's like, what? No way! Yeah. So they're like, well, we have to get these things back to Olympus. And so they're like, we need to take a plane.
Oh, wait. Before they go to Olympus, Percy gives the Hades hat to the Furies because they're basically Hades like guard dogs. That isn't a guard dog.
And so they're like, we have to take a plane to get there fastest, but also Zeus kind of hates us right now. He's like the god of the sky, right? And they're like, no, we have to do it. So they go there and they get to Olympus, and Percy's like, oh my gosh, it's my dad. And then they give the bolt to Zeus, and Zeus is like, I still hate you. And then he goes away. And then Poseidon proceeds to say, I'm sorry you were born. And Percy's like, I love you.
What? I just want my mom back. And then Zeus is like, done. And then he gives him his mom back. And Percy is like, nice.
Yeah. And Percy's like, yay. So now I know who both parents are. I've seen them both. My dad's kind of wacky. Yay.
Yeah. And have you guys ever seen that movie Spider-Man Homecoming?
What?
What? This is kind of off topic, but you've seen it, right?
Yes, I have.
You know, in the end, when it's like Peter goes into his bedroom and he puts on the suit that he finds in a paper bag from Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
That basically happens to Percy, but it's like, hey, Percy, this is from you that you gave to me, but I'm giving it back to you because it's absolutely horrifying. And lo and behold, it's Medusa's head.
And then Percy's like, hey, Mom, if you ever want to, like, get rid of your terrible husband, here, just open this box, like, in front of him. And she's like, oh, what? And he's like, don't actually open it, though. Not right now. And
it's Medusa's head.
It's Medusa's head. And then he goes back to Camp Half-Blood, and Mr. D, who, by the way, is
a god.
He's, like, the leader of the camp, which we didn't
really talk about that. We kind of glossed over camp.
Yeah, but camp is pretty cool. Yeah.
If people want, we can do an episode 2 going into depth.
Yeah. And he's like, do you want to stay or do you want to leave? And Percy's like, I don't know. And then over his mom sends him a letter with a picture of this beautiful statue, ugly statue of some dude who looks like he would smell like moldy garlic pizza wrapped in gym shorts.
Called the poker player, which she sold. For money to buy a new apartment.
Oh, also to pay for college.
Because she wants to write books, but she works in a candy shop right now, which ain't bad.
And she brings home blue food for Percy.
Nice.
Yeah. And then Percy's like, I'm gonna go home and do school. And
Percy.
Gosh, sucks, but okay. And then he does. And it's like, yay! Happy ending, but not quite.
But before he can leave camp, Lucy, he can leave camp, the biggest part of the book, Percy's also conflicted because he's like, the prophecy isn't done. They said I was going to get betrayed or something. That's kind of whack. Oh, and then he's talking to his good buddy Luke, who's so emo all of a sudden.
He's like, wait. So betrayed by a friend, wouldn't that kind of be Aries? But he's also like, Aries wasn't really a friend to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay. And so he goes, and Luke is like, hey, you want to go talk about stuff in the book?
Hey, kids, you want some drugs? And Percy was like, no. I mean, Coke?
Diet Coke. And so they go into the woods, and he's like, hey, guess what, Percy? I'm the bad guy.
And you can tell he's a bad guy because he litters, and also
He says he's the bad guy.
Also, he says he's the bad guy, but also it's impossible to get things like Coca-Cola inside of camp. So that means he would have had to broken out of camp.
Yeah.
Which is a way he could have stolen the lightning bolt.
Yeah. And he's like, the gods are using you. No, I'm working for Kronos, actually. And Percy's like, you stupid. And then Luke is like, actually, here's a scorpion. Little present. Goodbye.
And then Percy's like, oh, nice. Scorpion, what's it for?
And then Luke, like, disappears dramatically because he's the bad guy, so we can do that. And Percy's like, what? No. And then he tries to, like, slice the scorpion in half, right?
And he does. Good job, Percy.
And then the hand. And by the way, it's like a weird...
A pit scorpion.
That, right. And so, like, would kill him. And he's like, oh, no. And then he blacks out. And then he ends up back...
at camp.
Back at camp. Well, he was, like...
He was at camp.
But then he's, like, in, like, on a cot.
The big house.
Big house, which is, like, the main, like, camp house or whatever it is.
Like the counselor's cabin.
Yeah. And then Annabeth is there, and he's like, oh, no, Luke betrayed us. And Annabeth's like, ah.
My definitely not crush. No.
Oh, because the romance in this book is insane.
That's crazy. Also note that Luke's like 4 years older than both Percy and Annabeth.
Yeah, but Yeah. And Percy's over here like,
conflicted.
And then he goes back to school and he's like, and then the book ends.
Yeah. So that's Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. We're very smart.
Probably
yeah.
Definitely gonna go through every other book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not in this episode. This episode is just Lightning Thief.
Just Lightning Thief. So in case you can tell, me and Alex really
we're excited.
Really like these books. I'm so 10 more days. Yay! Okay,
so personally, something I'm hoping in the TV show. That's what I'm doing now. I'm talking about TV show stuff.
Yeah.
Because I promised I would do that earlier, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Something I'm hoping they have in their TV show is that they will keep, like, some of the Percy just being absolutely done and confused all the time. I don't want him to be like, I know everything immediately.
Yeah, they need to, like, keep some of the, like, iconic lines. Also, sassy Percy. Because sometimes Percy is just
the Percy we all need.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the Percy we deserve or ask for, but the Percy we need.
I do like that they're definitely going to go into detail about, like, each individual book with everything, which is really, really handy, because then they're not going to, like, skim over. They better not skip Krusty.
They better not.
If they do, it will be deemed a bad series by a lot.
We're gonna put on strike T-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
And we're gonna make signs that say "Bring back Krusty."
Yeah.
I did read a thing online because I can read.
Mm-hmm.
That said Argus, like the chauffeur guy, he's not gonna be in it because it would cost too much to animate all the eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of unfortunate. Like, I kind of forget about him sometimes, but when he's here, I'm like, yay!
Yeah, that guy.
He's kind of just the guy that's, like, there for emotional support.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's not a bad character, and I'm
literally not actually, like, a character. He's just somebody there.
Yeah, pretty much.
We literally know nothing about him.
Well, he likes Hera. He has a lot of eyes. He doesn't talk a whole lot.
And he can drive.
He can drive. I think I would have liked to see him, but it's better that they don't do, like, a version of him with, like, 3 eyes.
And that's that's what I like. I think they're trying to go, like, actually all the way with the series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, like, they need to keep the things where it's like, we are impertinent, and, like, all of the very, very iconic lines. And if they don't get the vibes right for Percy Jackson and just every single scene, I'm gonna be very, very mad.
Yes. I won't be very, very mad, but if they make Percy like this,
If they make him like edgy instead of sassy, I might.
Yeah. Like Percy is kind of emo. But
a little bit though, but at least he comes with his like sarcastic comments and his like fantastic energy. Yeah, at least like in the first book, I can understand him being kind of angry because his mom's basically dead. If they make Grover a smaller character than he is, I might cry. I doubt it because they're gonna have so much time with him. Yeah, he's a pretty relevant character. Anyway, yeah, he's been talking for so long. Yeah. Basically, to sum up this episode, Percy Jackson is good. Read it. I don't care if you've read Harry Potter and prefer it. Read it. Do it now! If you can't tell, the name of the channel isn't accurate because we are very much nerds. Oh, yeah. Okay. Bye! Bye!